What is going on, everybody? John with ACTION-FLIX.com coming at you after another lengthy hiatus, about a month now, I believe. I'm back, so let's see how long this goes. We're here live. We're on Facebook and YouTube with another weekly intel, but at this point, I think I should call it the monthly intel, bi-monthly intel. Every 6 months intel. But hey, we're here. So let me just, again, you don't really need to like hear everything, but work, life, I tend to schedule things and then I'm trying to plug along with the website and everything. And stuff happens, it's just I just try to like do my recordings. I try to do my reviews. I actually have done a lot of reviews. If you've been watching me, following my website, I've done a crap load. Just a crap load of reviews. I mean, I think I've done more reviews in the last month and a half or two that I've done in, in a long time. But before we get officially started, I'm going to officially get the program started as I always do. So we're going to one of the most famous jocking scenes ever. And then, of course, the manliest handshake felt around the world. And now lately, I've been doing a little kung fu fighting with Scott Adkins. It's not kung fu, but it sounds better than anything else. So hey, so we're live. It's the Action-FLIX, the weekly intel.com. So here's what we're gonna do today. So I got a Scott Adkins update, as you already know. You know, if you follow Action and stuff like that, you probably know what I'm going to be talking about, but it's pretty cool. And actually, I kind of dig it because it allows to open some doors. And I'll explain that in a couple minutes. Then I also got a Big Bad Film Fest recap. Last month saw the second annual Big Bad Film Fest Reloaded, which is a film festival in California. And I was privy to running some reviews for the festival. They were gracious enough to contact me, and boy, did Well Go USA represent. And they brought some good stuff. So basically, the movies that we got to see from us, in it. Well, if you were in attendance in California, or if you were like me, unfortunately, I was not in attendance. And if you were in attendance, some really cool stuff happened. But unfortunately, I'm over all the way in Florida, so I was not able to be here, be anywhere near the festival. But I was able to remote cover it, and I did some reviews for Well Go USA mainly. So they came out with 100 Yards, a period martial arts action drama. Then there was also An Eye for an Eye to The Blind Swordsman continuation. And then one of the breakout ones, Bangkok Dog, which stars D.Y. Sao, who is a Cambodian born martial artist. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's not like Tony Jaa, where he's from Thailand, but or from that same area. But he definitely has brought some Tony Jaa second generation vibes. And this movie, an independent film, low budget, and I don't say that as a bad thing, minimum production time and all that stuff that these people seem to have going against them. But boy, did they deliver with the goods. It's not a perfect movie. It's an independent action movie. It's rough around the edges in some parts, and stuff that normally you would run into with independent action films and stuff like that. But seriously, the fights in this movie, top notch. Him and Brian Lee, who plays the heavy in the movie, boy, did they bring it. And wow, was I floored. I gave the film a 4 out of 5. I actually gave all these movies I think I gave 2 of them 4s, and then one of them a 4.5. And I believe the 4.5 came from 100 Yards. I will check my website again because it's been a couple weeks since I did the reviews. I was actually going to do a Big Bad Film Fest Reloaded recap a few weeks ago, but of course I have not been able to record. But here I am, so I figure better late than never, right? And of course, today, as I returned home from work, brought the sad news. Yes, I mean, James Earl Jones, that's right. you once icon. Well, he'll always be iconic, but now he's legendary, as we all know. Like when somebody passes away, we use the term legendary. Passed away. He was 93, I believe. So like, listen, he had a great life. I mean, he lived a long, wonderful life. I'm not gonna, but still, you don't want to see anybody go, especially like such a presence as this man. I mean, this man's voice could silence a room. Good Lord. And his presence in any movie, elevated or television show, or I mean, good Lord, of course he was the voice of Darth Vader, but of course, we all know Mufasa from The Lion King. He did that voice too. Simba's dad, and of course the best of the best. Who's the coach and best of the best. One of the most regarded martial arts films of all time. So he's known for a lot. Oh, so many other things that I can't think of the top of my head. But he will always be the one and only Sith Lord for me. And yes, we sadly lost him. I mean, today they announced it today. So whether it was yesterday or today, we lost another legend, a true Hollywood star and presence in the industry. I can remember when I heard his voice for the first time as Darth Vader when I went to go see Star Wars Episode 4 way back in 1977 on opening weekend. And yes, I say it with pride because I saw it on opening weekend. I was 5, and I was able to go with my dad. One of the best childhood memories of my life, and this man was a big part of it. And I just wanted to open up the podcast today and just, you can't say, and sometimes I do an article for people, when they pass away and stuff like that, but for the most part, I get sad. I don't want to talk about death. I mean, it's sad. It is. It's you don't want to lose anybody, like I said. I mean, he lived a great life, very revered, in life and in the industry. You can't say enough good things about this man. We lost him, but did we? Because of all the legacy that he left us in terms of his movies and all of his acting roles. And so it's not like, so when we do lose them, yes, they're not with us in the physical sense, but we will always have him to entertain us. And good Lord, if it's just not the voice of Darth Vader, I mean, there you go right there. So, yeah. So I just wanted to do a rest in peace, or rest in power, as you would say, to the legendary James Earl Jones. Such a force in the industry, and you can't say enough things about this man. And it makes you face your mortality. Like I'm 51. I'm not getting any younger either, so it is what it is. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So with that out of the way, so rest in power, Mr. Jones. We will miss you, and we will love you and cherish you and continue to watch all of your movies and everything that you've done for the rest of our lives, because you meant so much to us. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about some happier things now. So we're going to hit the ACTION-FLIX.com website, ACTION-FLIX.com. So a couple things. So we're not doing trailers. So again, remember, I'm separating trailers from the weekly intel. So weekly intel, I'm just talking about news and stuff around the action industry. A couple things to talk about. As you can see, they're popping up now. 72 Hours was announced, which is Christian Sesma's latest. We have a trailer for Cynthia Rothrock's Black Creek, which again, I'm going to do a trailer show for and show. Donnie Yen did a teaser for his movie, The Prosecutor. It's like 15 seconds long, but it's it shows a little bit. But here's the biggest thing. Scott Adkins news, Death March, the film that he's been filming in the Philippines with his buddy and collaborator, Louis Mandylor, who is an action star in his own right, has starred with Mr. Adkins in the Debt Collector movies, as well as Avengement, and the upcoming Skylines Warpath, I believe. He directed it, Scott Adkins stars in it, and this is from an idea of Adkins, where he plays a soldier who gets captured by the Japanese, and he's forced to fight in death matches. The commander of the POW camp sees that this man has skills, a certain skill set, a particular skill set, if you would, and he forces him to fight. So it's kind of like I mean, I call it like a blood sport vibe. It's not a blood sport vibe in the sense that it's blood sport like the tournament blood sport. This is a little bit different. This is war, and this is, like Bloodsport. Although Chung Lee killed not one or two people, if you think about, because he killed one in a Bloodsport that wasn't shown, then he killed a guy in the Bloodsport that was shown in the movie. But here, it's nothing. They wanted to see him die, so I just say Bloodsport just to kind of hype it up. It's that kind of feel like he's fighting in these death matches, and Bloodsport's just a cool name. It's just a cool thing to say, when you're talking about this. So the biggest news, and this is why I'm excited, is Well Go USA. The fine folks at Well Go USA have picked up this movie for distribution. And I say that with a wonderful excitement because Well Go USA has been very good to me. In terms of movies, they give me the contest. I do the Blu-ray contest. I get the Blu-rays from them for all these wonderful martial arts action movies and stuff like that. And when movies come to theaters, and of course they do the limited theatrical releases and stuff like that, they give me screeners. So I'm excited because Well Go USA picked up Death March from director Louis Mandylor, and starring Scott Adkins. So I'm excited because I'm probably going to get some goods here. I'm going to be able to see the movie. Interviews, we don't know, maybe. We'll just have to wait and see, because it's been a while since I've talked to my man Scott. I've talked to him 8 or 9 times for the website, so it's been a few years. So hopefully that would be awesome. Or even Louis Mandylor, who I've not had the pleasure of talking to. He seems like he would be a fun person to chat with, as he's been in the business for a very long time, and now he's directing. He's directed a few films now, but he did 3 Days in Malay, which if you follow my website, I gave a very good review to a couple of years ago. Made it one of the best movies of the year. Just a solid, and again, it's a low budget. I don't want to say that in a bad way, but it's an independent war movie with, and what he did with what he had. It was one of those kick-ass World War II flicks, but not only like in the sense that, firefights and stuff, but there's a lot of brutal, like hand-to-hand combat going on. So some real good stuff. So I'm excited for Death March because you're taking what he did in 3 Days in Malay, and now he's adding Scott Adkins to the mix, and he's bros with Scott, so he's going to make him look the best that he can in the fight scenes. And it's got Shane Kasugi in it, Sho Kasugi's son. We all know Kane Kasugi, who's been a martial arts star in his own right. Shane, hasn't really been as prolific as his brother has, but he's in the movie as well. So that's pretty cool. You got Donald Cowboy Cerrone in it, the MMA champion. So he was in 3 Days in Malay. He's been making a name for himself in the independent action circuit. So some real good stuff. So let's go through this a little bit. I'm gonna first of all, this picture came up, and I got a better here. There you go. That's the one that they released when they announced that Well Go USA had picked up the movie for distribution here in North America. I also got this one off the web of a Solemn Atkins standing there with a walkie-talkie in his hand, so or a radio in his hands. So that's pretty cool. But this is the one that's pretty cool. And that's the one they released of him holding a sword. So we all know that's cool. You gotta love a good sword fight, especially when Scott, because we all saw what Scott could do, with swords and stuff, like especially in the ninja movies. So super excited for that one. But let's talk about Death March. So they released a synopsis to go along with it. We've had a few synopsises that been released, but this one is the official per Deadline, who brought the exclusive, because God forbid any of us lower websites should, announce anything. They always got to do the big boys because they get the people. A British airman washes ashore after being ejected from his plane and becomes a prisoner in a Japanese-run POW camp while waiting to join the infamous Bataan Death March, which this is based on a true story. We all know about the Bataan Death March. The airman is tortured by the camp commander and is forced to fight for his life against an array of skilled Japanese warriors. Adkins portrays the airman. Veteran actor Peter Shinkoda, who he was in iRobot, of course, Daredevil, plays the Cap Commander. Yeah, so filming has wrapped on this project. So they're done filming it. So it's in the can. Well, it's not in the can per se for release, but it's in post production now. So yeah, so you got Michael Copen, who again, he's been in some action related projects. He was in As Good as Dead with Michael Jai White. He was Power Ranger, like I said, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, who was in 3 Days in Malay, and also Equalizer 2. It also stars Michael Renee Walton from Reptile, Gary Carnes from the channel. Gary Carnes is actually I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a fellow Ohioan. Just like myself. He was in the channel and Justified. Of course, I talked about Shane Kasugi, who we all know was a little kid when he did Nine Deaths of the Ninja. And if you know Nine Deaths of the Ninja, we can be friends. Even as screwed up as that movie is, it's still a fun time. And Masanari Murito, but from Baby Assassins and Hydra. And then Gabby Garcia from Unbreak My Heart. Yes, so there you go. Now, Doris Fardrescher, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. She's the exec. She serves as an executive producer on the film, as well as she's works for Well Go USA. She made a comment: Scott's prowess as an actor and martial artist is evident in every film he touches, and we are especially excited that the Mandalore directed Death March allows him the freedom to really showcase his considerable talents. So, yay. And then, like I said, here's a couple more. There's him with a knife. So he's got knives and swords. And there's the same picture I showed before. And then I think this is a behind the scene shot of him just chilling between takes. But I thought that was kind of a fun picture to throw in there at the same time. So yeah, so there you go. How exciting is that? Well Go USA picks it up. And can't be more excited than that. Like I said, they're very good to me. So I'm excited that Well Go USA has picked them up because I'm sure I'll get contacted sooner or later, which will be pretty cool. All right, so now this also happened just today. Actually, the Scott Adkins news was was last week. So now we got this one, which was just released. I got the press release, if you will. The 72 Hours. There's a new action thriller. Brainstorm Media acquires the Sam Tremmel and Cam Gigandit-led actioner from director Christian Sesma. There you go. Yes. So this is an official photo that was released to go along with the announcement. Now, action fans should know Christian Sesma as a director. He's done a lot of pretty solid action picks as of late, including every last one of them with Paul Sloan, which was one of my favorite movies from that year. Section 8 with Dolph Lundgren and Ryan Quatten and Scott Adkins. And most recently, Lights Out, which starred Frank Grillo and, again, Scott Adkins. So he's been really doing some really solid stuff in the independent action film realm. And now he has directed or is directing 72 Hours. And let's talk about the synopsis of this one. So it stars Sam Tremmel and Cam Gigandit, and 72 Hours tells the story of two brothers, a decorated FBI agent and a crypto international money launderer. How do you get that job? Who must put aside their differences and join forces to save their family. The duo embarks on a dangerous mission deep into Kingpin territory where they face life-threatening challenges in a race against time. There you go. Ooh, doesn't that sound exciting? Yes, so Brainstorm Media picked it up for release. So let's read a little bit more here about it. 72 Hours promises to deliver a thrilling experience, blending intense action with a compelling story of family, loyalty, and survival. Well, doesn't that sound good? Working on 72 Hours to create a great collaboration with Toric Films and their partner Brainstorm Media is an exciting release, especially with the very talented ensemble cast we put together, says director Christian Sesma. Shooting a tight action thriller in South Georgia with the team of Workhorse Cinema really allowed us to stretch the scope of our production and bring the crime heist genre to life. I'm very much looking forward to the general public's response to what we really made sure was a family story about two brothers and their loyalty to one another above all else. Woohoo! Doesn't that sound exciting? And there it is. That's the official. And again, I downloaded it here for the. There's a better picture of it. I mean, guns and babes. Gotta love it. so so that just happened today. So let's go over some more things here in terms of the Intel world. So, oh yes, this was in terms of this is interesting news. I don't really like take this how you want to. I'm not really sure. Okay, here's the deal. All right, and I want to talk to somebody that's, connected to this film because we all know there it is. Kickboxer Armageddon with Alan Musi, the third and final installment of the Kickboxer reboot franchise trilogy, which is supposed to again star Alan Musi as well as Scott Adkins as the main heavy Caesar. So, here's what happened as I show it. Kickboxer Armageddon has started a has launched a Kickstarter. Sorry, I was going to say Kickboxer Kickstarter campaign to make sure that the film stays independent. So there's no studio interference. So director Dimitri Logothetis, who actually did Gunner, the new movie Gunner with Luke Hemsworth, if you've seen that one, I did a review for that, and I got quoted on social media. So that's always a good. That's always pretty cool. So he's trying to keep it. And here's his statement that he put on the official Kickstarter webpage. This is Dimitri Logothetis, the filmmaker and director. He produced the first one. John Stockwell directed the first one, but he has since directed the second one and is directing the third one. He says, join me in being a part of the iconic Kickboxer film franchise that ignited the U.S. Martial Arts Film Festival alongside Enter the Dragon. Filmmaking has been my passion for many years, and as a former martial artist, rebooting the Kickboxer franchise with Kickboxer Vengeance in 2016 was a career-defining moment. In 2018, I wrote, produced, and directed Kickboxer Retaliation, which earned praise from critics and fans worldwide. Again, how you feel about these movies and in relation to the original with Van Damme, I'm enjoying them. I like them. People make fun of them or like criticize them for certain reasons. Alain Musi is a solid talent, and Jean-Claude Van Damme was part of the first two. Now, I'm not sure. I'm believing that he's not part of the third one, or else not yet. So, who knows what's going on right now. The film took the franchise to new heights and became a smash hit, boasting a 92% critic score and an 84% fan score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now it's time to conclude Kurt Sloan's story, Kickboxer Armageddon. This final chapter will see Kurt pushed to the extreme in a global hunt for vengeance. After nearly 10 years of development, we need your help to bring it to life. As a backer, you'll be part of every step of this legendary film's preparation, gaining access to storyboards, locations, creative materials, stunt pre-visualization, and visual effects. Help us honor this franchise and deliver the best Kickboxer yet. Your support is vital to completing this trilogy. In return, you will receive exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and ongoing updates from my team and me, including Q&A opportunities with different departments. At the end of the process, you'll get a special edition of Kickboxer Armageddon and a behind-the-scenes feature prepared just for backers. Join me in making film history. Thank you, Dimitri Logothetis. So, again, negativity is running rampant on social media. Everybody's like, why did they do this? Why did they go? Listen, I don't take it as a negative thing. That's my personal opinion. I'm taking it as, listen, he wants to make what happened with the first two. Obviously, there was some behind the scenes. Well, we all know with the first one, there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on that I'm not even going to get into. The second one seemed like more on cruise control. So he's looking to keep it in. He wants to make his vision. And Alain Musi wants to make his vision. Hopefully Scott Adkins is still involved. He still is as far as this recording. And he's still on the IMDb page as Caesar. So hopefully that still happens. But this movie was supposed to start filming earlier this year. They announced Scott and said it was going to be filming at earlier this year. But it went radio silent, and now this happens. So people are like, "Oh, what happened?" The negativity, is big time. So what are you gonna do? I don't know. So you can sit there and freak out and raise the red flag and say, you know what, this movie sucks anyways. I hate it. Van Damme's is the only one. Okay, whatever. You can love the original and like these movies too. I'm enjoying them. I enjoy them. I love Alain Musi. I think he's solid. I talked to the man. I've interviewed him twice. He's very wonderful and delightful to chat with. He loves the action community. He loves us that, take the time to help promote and bring apart all this knowledge to the masses and everything. So I'm a fan. So do with what you will. Okay. Now we all know that they did this. Well, there's the shot of what a lot of Musie's supposed to look like in the final one, and I was digging it. This is actually like 2018, 2019. They released this image, so yeah, this has been festering for a while. What are you gonna do? I don't know. But anyways, I hope he keeps the look because it's badass. It's different from his other two movies, because he had the clean cut look and everything. I'm digging this, anti hero vibe. His family gets killed, so he's ready to kick some booty, if you will. So yeah, so super excited on that front. If it happens that way. I interviewed Alan Musi, like I said, a couple times. And I actually, when I talked to him for Kickboxer Retaliation way back when, okay, when that movie first came out, I interviewed him for Kickboxer Retaliation. It was a written interview because it was when I was still, transcribing interviews, which I have since discarded because that is just way too hard and painful to do nowadays. So I do all my interviews on video, on the podcast, or audio. Just easier. People would rather see me talking to them anyways or listening to them as opposed to reading anyways, so that's how I do it. But this was a transcribed interview from the conversation that we had. So let's talk about what he said. This is from my interview. So he said, oh, well, with the third one, I have to tell you right now, from reading the first draft of the script, this is by far the best script I've read for all three Kickboxer films just from the starting point. It amps up the action. It amps up the character, which is really cool. Kurt Sloan's journey is really interesting, and it's kind of like my journey as an actor because I still consider myself a total rookie. Now, this is, obviously, the back when he was talking. He's done some more movies since. I'm learning as an actor all the time, and I'm constantly training, so I feel like the character is evolving like my evolution as an actor. The first film didn't ask me much of me in terms of performance. Dimitri told me that he wanted me to be as natural as possible. He said that he wanted to get as much of me into this role. So he's talking about like in the first one, as obviously one of his first main roles, he did a lot of stunt work. He's doubled for Hugh Jackman and pretty much everybody that's known in Hollywood. But this was pretty much his first real big acting gig. And I thought he did a fine job. Got a little bit of an accent. There's nothing wrong with that. So now he talks about the third film where Kurt Sloan has to go deeper and darker. This is his words. That's where he is going right now, and bad things happen. Instead of being pulled into the world, he decides to go back into that world and to put an end to it so that that's where the story is going. He's going into a very dark place because he needs to put an end to all that has been done to him. I can't tell you exactly what it is, and he laughed when he said it, but that's where the story is headed. He's going on a rampage from one person to the next to find the people responsible and put an end to it. That's why that's why the look I have now is completely different. I've been growing my hair out. And he had to, so he says obviously I've cut it off. So like I said, hopefully he gets it back because they were going to film it. And then they did jiu-jitsu. They shelved this one for a while. And then it was back on again. Then it was back off again. And it's back on again. And Scott Adkins was involved. Now it's off again. Now they're doing the Kickstarter thing. The movie is going to be a totally different place than the last two, which is great. And then he talks about the action. He says, now in terms of action, we know the things that our audience loves, so we just want to deliver more and better versions of it, and that is what we are working on now. In terms of a wonder, like we talked about earlier, because I was talking about the wonder sequence in Kickboxer Retaliation, you're going to see a crazy amped up wonder in this movie. In terms of the end fight and the stakes, we are going to totally bonkers with that, and it's going to be great. As you know, in a trilogy, when you get to the third film, you often revisit things about the first. That definitely happens in this film in a good way. I think story-wise, Kurt is going full circle. It's going to please the audience. Our goal, like I said, was to top the last film and to top ourselves, and that is what we are doing again. So basically, this was years ago. So, he was in training, and he had the hair and everything. So since, they said for the time being, and then he, did all the, he did jiu-jitsu, he did King Killers and everything. So like I said, I'm trying to stay positive. It is what it is. I mean, like I said, I dig it. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. which is pretty cool. So yeah, so just stop being negative. Every time I do stuff with the website, it seems like all there is negativity festering from people. Whether it's a movie, I still like The Crow. I'm sorry. Was it Brandon Lee's Crow? No, it wasn't. Was it a great movie? No, it was a decent film, and what they did with it, and Bill Skarsgård did a great job. It wasn't as heartfelt as the first one, but it wasn't a remake. It wasn't a reboot, a remake. It was a totally different thing. I'm getting off tangent, but I'm just saying negativity tends to fester in the art or the realm of action cinema. And once they announced this, everybody, it was like jump ship. The ship is sinking. But what are you gonna do? Like I said, what I don't know. I mean, I wasn't in the meeting, so it's like I don't know what to tell anybody in that regards. So there you go. So yeah, so we got Kickboxer Armageddon news, Kickstarter campaign. Go to the site, check it out. And of course, they got a lot of cool things. The more you pledge, the cooler stuff you get. So obviously, you pledge money, you're going to get a digital copy of the movie when it comes out, when it's finally made and it comes out. They have walk-on roles, but that's like ludicrous. You got to pay like more money than I have ever seen. But that's besides the point. But yeah, but there's a lot of cool incentives. If you go on there, check it out, see if it's something you want to contribute to. I'm leery of doing Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaigns because I did some in the past, and the ones I did not come to fruition. So I'm a little on, so I'm like, speaking live now, I probably might, I'm just a little gun shy when it comes to the crowdfunding stuff. I did the GI Joe books. They're coming out with all the original comics in the compendium sets. I did that one because that's definitely happening. So that's exciting. So I did do that one, and I got the Snake Eyes package, which is the set of 3 books with all the Marvel Comics issues in it. And it's the GI Joe version. They had a Cobra version and a GI Joe version. And you could have got both of them if you had some serious money just lying around. But I was like, why would I get like, oh, I have both of them? And they just sit there. But I got the Snake Eyes one because I'm, I enjoyed it. Not that I don't love a good Cobra action figure, but it's like I'm all about the Snake Eyes. So yeah, so I did do that one. So we'll see what happens. So with Kickboxer Armageddon. They just announced it last week, so it's in its early stages. So hopefully they reach the goal and are able to do what they want to do. All right, now this is some news from a couple weeks back. Boom, there you go. That's an official photo from Z Meow, who is starring in Kenji Tanagaki's blistering thriller, The Furious. Now this movie is being hyped because it's supposed to be next-gen action. XYZ Films is putting it out, and there's a lot of good stuff. And they were able to release some pictures of Z. This is actually a cool shot, an action shot of one of the fight scenes, which is kind of sweet. I'm digging that one. That's like 1, 2, 3. It's like, how high can you go? But yeah, so this is sounding pretty damn cool. Kenji Tanagaki, as you know, he's a big time action design coordinator, master, choreographer. He did Snake Eyes GI Joe Origins, which everybody except me hated. But what are you gonna do? I don't know. But I still like it. I mean, I don't love it, but I like it. So new images surfaced, and they talked about the movie The Furious. The plot is probably secondary, like I said in the article, because it's all about the action. But it says a simple tradesman portrayed by mainland Chinese star Zi Miao, who fights his way through a complex web of criminals and evil agents in a frantic attempt to win back his kidnapped daughter by any means necessary. And evidently, that's probably his daughter right there. The script hails from Mak Tin Shu. And this is Kenji Tanagaki. He's doing the action, but he's also directing it. And it's got a solid who's who of international Asian action cinema. We got Joe Taslim, who we all know from the Raiden and Mortal Kombat. Jija Yanyan from Chocolate and Triple Threat. And Yayan Ruyan from the Raid also. So you got some Brian Lee, who I just talked about a little bit. I mentioned him a little bit ago. that I'm going to talk about the Big Bad Film Fest here in a couple minutes. Yeah, so super excited about this one. And then, of course, we have Tanigaki spoke about the movie in the announcement with the release of these images. He said the action is very different from Walden, which he was again. I seen that one finally. I watched it this week. I got to do my review. It's forthcoming. I mean, everybody else has done a review for it, so really it's just secondary at this point. But I just want to talk about how much I enjoyed it. We are very focused on realism, and I'm satisfied that we are pushing the boundaries of martial arts movies. So there you go. And actually, he's Zmeow is becoming a very solid next generation action star. He was actually in Eye for an Eye 2. He's in the Blind Swordsman films. He plays the Blind Swordsman, which I'm going to talk about here in a couple minutes. Yeah, he's been hailed as an elite level Asian martial arts actioner. The movie is that it's elite level Asian martial arts actioner. That's not my words. That's their words. Yeah. So actually, so he's really doing some good things here in terms of international action cinema, if you will. So yeah, so super excited about that. Now let's talk about Big Bad Film Fest Reloaded. So this is the pleasure I had of they reached out to me, and I would have loved to have gone to California, but you know what? I work and have children and life. I can't just drop what I'm doing. I would love to, but it just doesn't happen. So let's talk about it, shall we? So this is the Big Bad Film Fest. There's actually had a pretty cool picture for their festival, which shows a the wolf with the machine guns. So yeah, this is its second year of bringing action film to the masses. It's a festival, and this year they had Eye for an Eye 2, 100 Yards. They also had Life After Fighting, the Bren Foster directed, starring movie, which I'd already done a review for. I did 2 reviews, actually, a video review and a written review. So I didn't cover that one for the festival because I've already talked about Life After Fighting. And there were some shorts that I have to check out too. The Night Comes for Us closed the festival, and I was finally able to do a proper review for that movie because when that first came out, I was busy with life, and I had seen the movie. I've actually seen the movie a couple times since then, but I was able to finally do a proper review, and I basically just talked about what everybody else talked about on how freaking awesome it is because it is. So there you go. Yeah, so I did a series of reviews. So let's talk about them. So the first one I did was Eye for an Eye 2. And there's Z Meow. We just talked about him from The Furious. Wow, let me tell you. Okay, so 3 movies from Wogo USA. And I'm going to hype up Wogo USA. Maybe if I hype them up even more, they'll even give me more goodies. Are you listening? Okay, so and again, I'm not doing this for accolades or anything or to get stuff. I'm happy to watch movies and talk about them. So, my Big Bad Film Fest 2024 review of Eye for an Eye 2, I call it a blood-soaked wuxia brilliance is on display in a blistering sword and vengeance period actioner. Yeah, there's the poster. And this little girl, let me tell you, she's got a future. She delivers an amazing performance. And again, the story is nothing real, nothing like original. It's another assassin taking in a child, protecting the child, bonding with the child. How many times have we seen this, whether it's modern day or period times? I mean, listen, it is what it is, okay? But this movie is solid. Let me tell you, it is exciting. It's got phenomenal fights. Z is phenomenal in it. I can't say phenomenal enough. I mean, it's just, I'm not usually a wuxia fan because like the wire work and the fancy, choreography or, the balletic aspect of it and stuff like that. So you got to be in the right kind of frame of mind to watch a movie like this. But this one's like more bloody and brutal. And like, it's got that, don't get me wrong, it's got the wuxia elements in it, but it's a little bit more grounded too. The sword play is phenomenal. There's that word again. And he is freaking awesome in this movie. There's the big shot. And the ending has him taking on 1,000 people. I mean, I don't know. There was a lot. he's swinging, they're swinging, slicing, dicing, action design going on. And boy, was this an exciting movie. Let me read my wrap up for you. So, this is the ending of my review. So, if you want to read the full review, it's up now. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I basically say ZML, Dazzlers and Thrills, and the blistering jaw dropping, and ultimately brutal Wujiao sequel, Eye for an Eye 2. So I say overall, Eye for an Eye 2 needs a wide audience, and fans of this type of action will get more than their fill with the brutal combat and masterful sword play on hand. The storyline is predictable and overused, but what can I say about that except that plots are plots, and as long as we care about what is going on, because we still care about the characters, we go on a journey with him and the child and the characters involved, then we don't need to recreate the wheel. We don't need to recreate the wheel. I mean, for all you that say, oh, it's got to be original, we got to have this phenomenal plot that nobody's ever heard of, who cares? As long as you care about the characters and the action is amazing, so what? The characters are treated with respect and are well written, and the action on hand is some of the best I've seen in a long while. Z Meow is a true action cinema talent, and besides being a little short in the charisma department, he's getting there. Like I said, especially like in some of his older movies, he had a way to go. He delivers what is needed. He delivers what is needed time and time again. And here he has found his best character in the blind sword expert bounty hunter. Meow plays it quiet and cool and lets his signature skill set do the talking and some memorable and dazzling gravity defying fisticuffs. The first film is now showing on Well Go USA's Hiya. It is. Martial arts access streaming service as well as DVD and Blu-ray. So I have not seen the first one. I'm not gonna lie. So I have to go back and see it. So I'm doing this backwards. So there you go. It's a phenomenal movie. Can't say enough good things about it. Then I watched 100 Yards. So let's get into that one. Hang on, let me get it all queued up here for you. So, hang on, it's coming. Here we go. All right. Yeah, there's the picture. That's the one that's being used. So I called 100 Yards as a martial arts feast for the eyes and a masterclass in traditional period action. Booyah! So it's got Jackie Young and Andy On. Andy On, let me tell you, is becoming quite the action star. Oh boy, every time I see he's involved in a movie, I just get excited and I get giddy because there's a lot going on and he just looks masterful in anything that he does. It's a good time. Let me tell you. All right. So this movie is a little bit more traditional. So this is a period of history that not a lot of people know about. Okay. So basically there is a master. He has a school. He has a son. And he has another student who is well respected. He's dying. He needs to pick somebody to run the school upon his death. So obviously, would it be his son? Well, not necessarily. All right. So Jackie Young and Andy On basically are vying for the same job, if you will. But first, let me explain 100 Yards. I'm going to read this right out of my article. So I say, first, I must explain the film's title of 100 Yards, as it is a fascinating, albeit interesting concept of a time in China when life was transitioning from old style to more modern tropes. In this world that revolves around Master Shen's, who's played by Gao Long, he's the master that's dying, martial arts academy, with the biggest being that there will be no violence or fighting within, you guessed it, 100 yards of the school. So I called it kind of like a demilitarized zone, like we have in Korea. Like nothing can happen. So it's like at 100 yards of the school, nothing bad, no fighting. Nothing nefarious can happen. It's a long-standing rule that protects the people in the area from unwanted violence, but also refrains the school students from participating in nefarious acts of unwarranted combat. It's basically like an old-school DMZ, like I said, that lurks in Korea. But it is this premise and the fact that sets up the film's plot threads and motions leading up to the inevitable jaw-dropping climax. So these two fight over it. There's a lot more to go with that. What follows is, again, just like in an Eye for an Eye 2, some stupendous, brilliantly choreographed fight sequences between the two and others as well. Let me read you the wrap up from this one. It says overall, 100 Yards is an unfortunate endangered species. This is a true classic martial arts story mixed with masterful action design and actors that need no stuntmen. It's a movie that invokes all from that time period with politics and love blended with jaw dropping action. Damn, am I a good writer? I'm sorry. I am. That achieves a crowd pleasing effect. Hopefully, with Logo USA acquiring this title, it will reach the desired audience as that company takes pride and care with their releases. I just wish I was able to see the movie live at the festival on the big screen, like I said, as it would have done justice for it even more. Zhu Haofeng, who is the director of the movie, is clearly an elite martial arts filmmaker, and he has the best of the best for his muses here and stars Andy Yan and Jackie Young. And especially in building quite the name for himself as an international action star, and he proves here that he can sell the action no matter if it's a period film or a modern movie. There is a wizardry about what is on display here, and whatever I watch next will suffer because of it, as the film should be pitched in the same breath as the Raid films or any other genre flick that brought resurgence and much needed recognition to the action genre. To put it simply, 100 Yards is just that plain good. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. Why I didn't give it 5, I don't know. It depends what I was feeling that day. So again, this is Well Go USA. So again, I'm excited because like when these movies finally make their way out to, because this was the festival, they premiered at the festival, so these movies aren't able to be shown to you unfortunately yet. So I was able to see. That's why I got excited too, because I was like, oh, I get to do this film festival. I get to see movies that nobody else has seen before. And I just, I get excited because that doesn't happen a lot. Normally, I'm the guy watching the movie late because I wasn't able to watch it before. Everybody puts the reviews out, and then I finally watch it. I'm like, here you go. So like, I just saw Rebel Ridge, the Netflix movie, so starring Aaron Pierre. Boy, was that a good movie. I've been hearing some criticism about it too for certain reasons, but I'll get into that at another time. But I haven't done a review for it yet, and I haven't done a Twilight of the Warriors Walden either. Everybody else has. So when I put my review out, I mean, you save the best for last, right? So there you go. But anyway, Well Go USA has put these movies out, and I'm excited for when they finally come out because I'll be able to probably, do contests for them and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. So let me talk about the last film I watched from Well Go USA, which was Bangkok Dog, starring D.Y. Xiao. So this is a gentleman from Cambodia. And again, big, massive respect to DY. I never said he was Thai in the article or the review, but he's from Cambodia, and it's not Muay Thai. Actually, it's the style, and I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. Let me see where Kun Khmer, which is a relation of the Thai art of Muay Thai. And boy, did I hear it from his fans. Okay, I'm like, okay, sorry, I apologize. I never called him Thai to begin with. I just didn't mention the fact that he was from Cambodia. My bad. Okay, whoop. Okay, and then I put in what style of martial arts he does. If you watch him, he's looking exactly like a young Tony Jaa. That's where I compared him to. I said and this is my review title for the film. I said, D.Y. Xiao channels next-gen Tony Jaa vibes in the crushing action of Bangkok Dog. That's a compliment. I'm not saying, yo, he's Thai or he's doing Muay Thai like Tony Jaa. I'm just saying he's looking like Tony Jaa. And that's a compliment. That's the biggest compliment I could give somebody because Tony Jaa's phenomenal. But boy, did his fans like, why couldn't he say this? Why couldn't he say that? Because, I mean, I made a mistake. It happens. Duh. So anyways, enough about that. But he emailed me, and I have since emailed him. I have not heard back yet. And he thanked me for the review, and he didn't even mention any of that other stuff. And he just loved what I wrote about him in the movie and everything because it's real labor of love for him. And I did email him back and apologized and put the necessary changes in my review and, asked if he would like to come on the podcast and chat about his life and career and martial arts and all that good stuff. I'm waiting on a reply. So there you go. All right. So Brian Lee's also in this movie. We all know Brian Lee was in the Paper Tigers, a phenomenal martial arts actor. Let me read the review overall review for Bangkok Dog. I say overall, Bangkok Dog is the perfect ending to the festival, which saw Well Go USA go all out with their titles. This film is the perfect complement to Eye for an Eye 2 and 100 Yards, as those movies were period actors with more of a graceful aesthetics to accompany the brutality. With Bangkok Dog, this is just an in-your-face, punishing, crowd-pleasing violence that utilizes the insane talents of those involved. And I mean, DY and Brian Lee. Ron Smorgasbord's also in it. Hopefully, with this movie, both Sal and Lee become bigger names in action cinema because they deserve it, as they both can effortlessly combine dramatic flair with bone-snapping, empty-handed battle action fan service to spare. Again, when I read this out loud, listen, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I was the guy in high school that wrote his thesis the night before it was due and got A pluses on it. It's fact. I can't help but wonder if that other martial arts action movies I mentioned could have been better by adding these talented individuals to the mix. Nothing to take away from that film and the hard work you put in, but the action Bangkok Dog was the action I was hoping for in that film. And when I was talking about that, I was talking about Art of Eight Limbs, which stars Ludi Lin, one of the Tiger style medium films. I was disappointed in that one. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't hate it, but I was disappointed in it. And I was like, this movie was probably made with a third of that movie's budget, and they did what that film was supposed to do. That's all I'm saying. When Will Go USA finally unleashes Bangkok Dog, do yourself a favor if you can. Call yourself a hardcore action cinema faithful and watch it ASAP. And I say DY Sal and Brian Lee are the legit goods and deliver punishing, take no prisoners, ultimate action. And Will Go USA's crowd-pleasing savage actioner Bangkok Dog. 4 out of 5 stars. There you go. So hopefully he gets back to me and we set something up, because that would be pretty damn cool. So yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully this opens up the realm to more festivals, and I get to see, because I always get mad, well, not mad, but I get kind of upset, like a lot of these other bloggers and stuff like that get to go to these festivals and stuff like that, and I always live in an area where nothing like that ever happens. I was in Ohio, then I went to New Hampshire, now I'm in Florida. What are you gonna do? So remotely is how I'm going to cover it, because I guess like those that went to see The Night Comes for Us, I guess Liam O'Donnell, filmmaker Liam O'Donnell, who does the Skylines movie, brought some raw footage of Skylines Warpath, which stars Eco US and Scott Adkins, and everybody got to see some of it. And I was like, yep, there you go. Like, if you were in attendance, that's what you got to see. I don't live in California. I couldn't make it out to California, and I was denied to see first look footage of Skylines Warpath. What are you going to do? But I was still excited to help out Big Bad Film Fest Reloaded for their second annual film festival and deliver these reviews, which a lot of people have mentioned and enjoyed my reviews and are looking forward to these movies. And I hope Well Go USA takes note, and, sees, hopefully I can help promote these movies, is what I was saying, when they're finally released. So there you go. All right, so a couple things real quick, and I should have done this at the beginning of the podcast, but I forgot, and I apologize. But I've been doing Owen Friel from the Action Lead. He's been doing his Action Lead Live. We got one more coming this Wednesday, and then we're going to be on hiatus again because he's traveling and he'll be out of the country. So we did last Wednesday. We talked about, and I'm wearing the shirt again, Ninja 3 to Domination. I finally got a shirt to wear for the actual podcast. So we talked about that movie and just how freaking awesome it is and how gloriously 80s it is and over the top. And what other movie do you know that takes The Exorcist and combines it with Revenge of the Ninja and Flashdance with Lucinda Dickey? I would love, Lucinda, if you're listening, if you happen to see this or somebody watches this and knows Lucinda, I would love to interview you because I was a fan. I'm still a fan. Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. Love the name. Love you as an actress. Too bad. I mean, I get it. You raised a family. God bless you. But I still love the movies that you did. Ninja 3 to Domination is one of my favorite movies of all time. And you rocked it in that movie, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen you in this movie, and I would love to chat with you about Ninja 3 to Domination because it's just badass. and super cheesy in all the good ways. So, but this Wednesday at 8 o'clock on the Actually Live, we're going to be talking about No Escape, which is stars the late great Ray Liotta as well as Ernie Hudson and Kevin Dillon, which is where he gets put on the penal planet, colony planet, and then the big breakout movie, the sci-fi prison movie No Escape. So we're going to be talking about how great that movie is because pretty much everybody knows how good of a movie that is. And actually, I'm excited because I'm going to watch it tomorrow, the day before, so that way it's fresh in my mind, because I've not seen that movie in a very, very, very long time. When I say a very long time, I mean like over 10 years. I've not watched this movie. I just, it's not like I haven't wanted to, or sometimes, there's so many movies out there anymore. It's like, wow, I haven't seen that in a long time. And this is going to make me watch it. And I'm super excited because I know I liked it. I know, and, Ray Liotta, rest in peace. Again, take it from us way too soon. And I can't wait to revisit it. So there you go. That's this Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time or 7 Central. If you're like me, I'm in the central time zone of Florida, Panama City. So 7 Central, 8 Eastern time on the Action Elite Live. Join me, Owen, J-Man. Actually, it was kind of cool too because last one, Ninja 3, it was just me, J-Man, and Owen. Just 3 of us just chatting away, and it was just such a good time. And we had so much fun just hyping up this movie and how great it was. It's such a train wreck, but in all the good ways. I mean, even though you're watching this movie, you're like, this is a bad movie and I should not like this movie, but you love it in so many ways. And it's awesome and horrendous at the same time. And you just love it. Ninja 3 to Domination. Can't say enough good things about it. Woohoo. The movie that Sho Kosugi walked out on because he wasn't the leading star of the movie, and he had to kill the ninja at the end. So when they said, "Hey, Sho, you can kill the ninja at the end," he's like, "Okay, I'll come back." so Lucinda just stabs him at the end, but he gets the final blow when he sticks the knife in the head. He had to have that final fight, with David Chung, who played the Black Star Ninja, the evil one that possessed Lucinda Dickey's Christina Ryder character. Oh, but that's up on and actually I apologize though, when I used to put up when I do his shows, I used to put up articles on my site. I have not done that because I got busy and I have 1,000 things going on. But I'm gonna do one where I'm gonna put all the recent ones we've done since we came back. We're on a really long hiatus because he had a job thing going on and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna put them all on my website so that way you can watch them there too. So this Wednesday, the last one before, I think it's a couple weeks that we'll be on hiatus because he's going to be out of town or out of the country, actually. I believe he's visiting his family again. So join us for No Escape this Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on the Action Elite Live. And then J-Man's channel, he does streams all the time. I gotta pin his streams down, and I'll advertise those too as well. So I'll find J-Man. I will find your shows because he does comic books and everything, and I always want to be on his comic book podcast, but I haven't read any of these comic books in years. I just started reading comic books because I moved to Panama City, and I have not one but 2 comic book stores within a mile of me. How awesome is that? And I just started getting the new G.I. Joe line, the Energon universe and Transformers, and then Wolverine and Deadpool and all these other great, the Punisher one that lasted 4 issues before they canceled it. I liked it. I mean, it was kind of weird, but it's not Frank Castle, but people can't just let go. I mean, it's just like you can do new things with a character. It's okay. It's all right. But anyways, he does wrestling, he does comic books, he does movies, his podcasts and stuff like that, talks about all kinds of great stuff. And I've actually been on his show a few times. I hope to be on it more in the future. And because it's fun. We just bullshit and talk about good things and stuff like that. And then previously we had Alien Romulus. We all talked about Alien Romulus and how great it was until the last 15 minutes. If you have not seen it, I won't spoil it still. I'll still wait a little bit before I spoil it. But let's just say Ridley Scott rears his head and says, "Put this in here because it's my franchise." That's all I'm going to say. So here's the only thing I'm going to say too. Do you remember when Xenomorphs were scary and dangerous enough to be the threat of the movie? Yeah. Well, they are, but they weren't, they didn't get the finale. Boy, was I disappointed. That dropped at a spot for me. So Let me just check some things here as I close out here tonight. I'm so glad to be back, by the way. And hopefully I can stay committed. Another thing I want to announce, I do the trailer show. I called it Trailer Talk. I'm changing the name because Trailer Talk is too boring. I always do the Action Fix, the Weekly Intel, cool names, Action Rewind. I'm changing my trailer show where I look at trailers to upcoming movies to Trailer Tactical. I like it. If you don't, it's my website. I don't care. But it's going to be called Trailer Tactical, and that's the Action Fix podcast where I look at trailers. And because I remember I'm keeping everything separate. The weekly intel is about news, Trailer Tactical is going to be about trailers, and of course I do exclusive interviews. I still have to put my interview up with Randy, the Natural Couture, who we talked about Angels Fallen, Warriors of Peace. And again, I'm having some issues with that video wise. Hopefully, I can get it ironed out and get that up for you guys to watch because it's just cool to talk about Randy. We talk about that movie, which just recently came out on streaming. But we also talk more about Expendables because I always got to talk about Expendables when because this is the second time I interviewed Randy Couture. Who would have known I'd talk to Randy twice? Such a legend or such an icon. And can I tell you, such the nicest man. He's so humble and just happy. He's retired and just making movies. He was in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. The video froze a lot, but it is what it is. But you can still hear him, and it's still a great chat, and it's all good. So yeah, so that's gonna finally get out there. I have some interviews lining up here. Hopefully they work out. And here's the other thing I hate. What I like when you set up interviews, they think you don't work. They think like you just sit at home on your computer, and it's like, no, I have a job. I have children. And it's like every time they set up an interview, they're like, hey, can you do this Friday? I'm like, no, I'm working. I told you I'm off these days. But they're like, oh, we can't do those days. And then it's like I got to switch around things and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? I need to pay bills. The website doesn't do it. But I'm trying to line up more interviews myself and from PR people. So, be on the lookout for all that. There's a lot of good action movies coming out. I'm not going to jinx anything by saying what interviews for what movies they are, because if I do that, and again, I'm not superstitious per se, but I do feel that if I mention, because I've done it in the past where I was like, oh, I'm going to interview this person. And then it didn't happen. I was like, damn it, I should have not said anything. No, I probably still would have happened if I had not said anything. But to this day, I don't say it until it's in the bag. Like at Randy Couture, it's there. I'm just having issues with it. I'm going to get it fixed. It's going to work out. Don't worry. It's coming. So yeah, there you go. All right. So exciting stuff. I hate my job, by the way. I wish I could just do this for a living. I tell you what. Oh my God, could I be more happier if I did this for my job? But it is what it is. I got to go to work and deal with people and punks. That's all I'll say. They think young teenage boys, you guys, most of you think you're indestructible and you know everything, and you don't. That's all I'm going to say about that. But all right, so let me wrap up. This Wednesday, we're doing the Action Lead Live. We're talking about No Escape with the late, great Ray Liotta, as well as Ernie Hudson and Kevin Dillon. We're going to talk about that movie and then go on hiatus. I'm going to do Trailer Tactical, the new name for my trailer show on the Action Fix podcast. And I'm going to talk about some new trailers. We got the Killers game coming out this weekend. And wouldn't you know it, I have my daughter this week. I love my daughter, but it's like these movie companies need to put these movies out on the week I don't have my daughter, because I do every other week with my ex. It's like every time a movie comes out, it's like I got my daughter. So we'll see what happens. If not, I'll go see it next week and my review will be late, but I'm sure I'll like it because I like trailers and everything. But everybody else will have their reviews out this weekend, I'm sure. So read them. I'm sure, Owen will see it and have his review and everything. And I will be there Monday-ish. That's the Monday after it comes out, or maybe I'll be able to see it. Who knows? We'll find. Maybe I'll figure it out. I don't know. Okay, so if you guys have any comments, questions, things you want to see on the podcast or want to talk about, let me know. I always ask you, but nobody ever says anything, and I just go, okay, I'm just gonna keep on doing my own thing. I take requests, people. I take requests. We did the mailbag thing a little while ago, and only that one gentleman has given us questions. If you want questions that you want to see us talk about or answer, by all means, we'll do a mailbag episode. And like I said, just plug it along. So make sure you you can email me at the website, actionflix3625 at gmail.com. Yeah, or jmjerva at gmail.com. I mean, they're both relate. They're both Gmails. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. But the one on my website, I believe, is actionflix3625 at gmail.com. More contests coming up. Hopefully, I'll get one for Twilight of the Warriors Walden. That one's going to be coming out on Blu-ray pretty soon from Logo USA. So hopefully, that'll happen. So yeah, so there you go. So got nothing else to do right now in terms of weekly intel. I'm sure I missed something, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. So look for me either later on or tomorrow. I'm going to be doing trailer tactical, and I'm going to do. Let me see. Hang on 1 second here before I wrap up shop here. And we'll do. I'm going to go down the line on trailers. Yeah, baby. So here we go. So we got the final trailer for the Killers game, which came out today. And again, way too many trailers. Remember the good old days when there was only one trailer and you were lucky enough if you saw it before one movie that you're actually seeing in the theater? Well, now you got the internet and you see 8,000 trailers for a movie before it comes out. Then you got Cynthia Rothrock for Black Creek. She did her extended trailer and she shared. Oh, bait. I forgot to mention this. She shared it on her website, on her Facebook account. Thanks, Cynthia. If you'd like to chat, I'm here. I will talk about it. I will promote it. I will talk to you all about it. Yeah, so she not only did she share this one, she did the teaser too. She did like a real fast teaser and she put that on her Facebook page. And I just want to, she said some really nice things. She says, thank you, John Jerva. I'm paraphrasing for talking about the movie and describing it as the way I wanted it to be. So I was like, oh, I was like, thanks. I was like, that was super cool. We got the prosecutor. We got a movie called Dominique, which is kind of interesting with Oksana Olen. She's a girl with a gun. What are you going to do? Not so much Alien Earth. It's like nothing really. It just shows a xenomorph real quick. Paris Has Fallen. I got some opinions on that. So I'll show the trailer to that. Shadow Strays, Hellboy the Crooked Man, Mafia Wars, Operation Crossbow. Holy cow. Oh, and Long Gone Heroes. There was a lot of trailers to get through. So the next trailer talk is going to be super long because I'm going to show all these trailers and hopefully not have YouTube kick me off. But as we all know, if you do this, hang on. Hang on. Boop. Okay. Nope. Nope. There you go. If you do it like this, I was told if you make it little, it doesn't affect it as much. My face is bigger. I don't like that, but what are you going to do? So, anyways. Oh, I just like talking. Like I said, if I haven't done a podcast in a while, it's been like a month since I did my last one. I just like talking and just, in general. I mean, I never, it's just been me solo, which is fine. And everything. So, yeah. So, like I said, if you guys have any comments or things you want to see, and again, I do take donations. I always talk about this on the website. If you go to the sidebar, there's a donations part where you can contribute to ACTION-FLIX.com. And again, like I said, it's not cheap. And actually, they just raised StreamYard. StreamYard is what I do my YouTube podcast on. They just raised it. It's like, okay, that's fine. It's like I'm made of money. All right. So between the website and the podcast, and it's like this stuff costs money. So if you want to help contribute to like a Kickstarter campaign, if you want to help contribute to ACTION-FLIX.com, I cannot appreciate it more. I have one gentleman that does it monthly, and I thank him all the time. And let me say, I can't thank you enough. I mean, it's super awesome. So yeah, so there you go. So let's do some good stuff. I got some cool things coming up in the future. Like I said, more interviews. They are coming. Just got to get them, in the can and everything. A lot of good movies coming out. September's here, so we're getting closer to the end of the year. We're going to be talking about the best movies of the year. So that's going to be coming up sooner or later. So, yep, there you go. So until then, remember, be kind to one another. Be kind to one another. Treat others as you want to be treated. And just, like I said, just don't be jerks, just be nice, talk about action and just have a good time and just be a good person. Okay. So, without further ado, there you go, baby. That's the first episode of the Action Fix for September. Hopefully, it's not the last one. Like I said, I'm doing Trailer Tactical this week sometime. Hopefully, I'm going to do it tomorrow. My girl's in school. I'll take her to school. I'm off tomorrow. So, I'm going to do a Trailer Tactical tomorrow. So, be on the lookout for that bad boy. And I'm going to talk about a lot of trailers tomorrow. Good Lord. A lot of them have come out since I have last been on the air. There you go. All right. So have a good night, everybody. And like I said, thank you for all your support. Thank you for everything that you do. I can't thank you enough. And like I said, this is my therapy, everybody. So hopefully, it's all good. There you go. Have a good night, everybody. Until next time, tomorrow, Trailer Tactical. We're talking about all kinds of good stuff in terms of the trailers. The Killers game comes out this weekend. So it's a good time to be an action fan. Good night, everybody.